Welcome. So, in this series, I'm going to share a little bit more from my personal experience of perceiving from this one infinite awareness versus perceiving as an individual identity. Now, the way that this happened for me first was a very sudden experience. At a silent retreat, I woke up in the morning. It was a retreat with Adyashanti. All the thoughts that create an individual identity were gone. And this perceiving is a perceiving that there is this one energy flow. And actually, it's impossible to not perceive that. You can't stop perceiving this flow of energy because it is the thing moving everything. So you feel it, you see it, it's there. But the individual identity, you can have those thoughts or not have those thoughts. That perceiving requires this extra addition of thoughts, and that one can come and go. It can disappear suddenly, as it did for me, or it can disappear gradually, which is what happened then in the subsequent years as I started investigating those thoughts. So, how did those thoughts happen, right? What was happening that I felt like an individual identity? Well, there's several different kinds of thoughts I've discovered, and it's very subtle differences of interpretation. So, as I'm sharing them, you might think of a baby. If a baby were walking or and then falling, walking and then falling as it's learning, if you started treating the baby as though, oh my gosh, this is a problem. You're not supposed to be falling. Get back up. What happened? You know, and then the baby gets back up. It might be just a subtle shift of perception, right? Either you see the falls as natural and part of it all, or you see the falls as a mistake, a problem. But what you actually do might be just subtle differences in how you treat the baby, not necessarily punishing, of course, but just, how you help, how you show concern. Just subtle differences can actually be huge. If you're showing the baby, of course, balls are natural, you're doing great, that's going to feel very different in that situation. And then it branches out and has a much bigger effect, right, in your ongoing relationship. Well, that's the same thing with these thoughts. The distinctions I'm making and that I saw that we make are so subtle, but then they carry out in such a big way. For example, when I thought that I could identify particular causes, you know, like I could look at somebody and think, oh, that person should not be so afraid. And I thought the fear was arising in them. Then I was subtly adding this a little ostracization to them. So that was a identity forming thought. I'm not afraid. That person is afraid. I'm not worried. That person is worried. And however I might compassionately want to help, who knows how I would refer to this person who I considered over anxious. But even if I was being kind, if I was subtly creating this identity, I'm not anxious, they're anxious, then I would be furthering this sense of an independent identity. But if instead I saw, oh, there's fear arising in out of this whole big milieu, so I could see, okay, this whole situation is coming to a head of fear over there. All the parties, all the circumstances are participating in that. Then I would feel like, okay, this is a joint experience. This is a revelation of what is here underlying everything right now. And then there's the opportunity to just look and see, and what in all this situation brings forth fear right now, and what are the ways that this wholeness naturally responds to fear. So it's just this very subtle difference. I would then hold the person like I would hold, a hurting foot, of my own hurting foot. It would be like, oh, here's a part of me, and they're feeling afraid or concerned or whatever. Like it's just natural, not like they have to be fixed. Like, oh yeah, this is a natural part of what expresses. So I saw that this is the subtle kind of difference that I'm constantly making that either puts me back in a separate identity. This identity would be something that wants to correct, wants to fix, wants to prepare, or back in this one awareness unfolding. Of course, we're always in the one awareness unfolding. You can't really go in and out of that. But we can perceive from that, or we can try to add on the layers of separation. The big advantage of the continuous unfolding sense is that there's no true danger. It's just one thing happening. There's no true danger. Instead, there's a certain joy of expressing. Oh, wow, look at this can happen. Whatever's happening right now. Oh, wow, this can happen. Whatever's happening right now. There's no deep permanent harm possible. While as a separate identity, there's constant harm possible. We can feel very out of control. We can feel very anxious. So that's one particular thought that I noticed was anytime that I was looking to see, oh, there's a cause over there, and the cause is not here. And as I started to let go of that and feel this whole participation, that brought me much more into a return to this sense of the single unfolding.